Hey guys, how you doing today? Just out getting my groceries, getting everything wrapped up so I can eat. You know, food is nice. Um, still, it's a big windy day today, right? One of these days it's going to rain any second. And so I'm struggling with the wind. I think I've got a technology that I can both be heard and also not have the wind ruin my videos as it does. So hopefully this works out. Please let me know in the comments. All of that kind of stuff. I'm going to be listening to it myself. I think I've got it figured out though. Let's hope. Cross those fingers. What's been banging around my head, man, though, this last little bit is this Amazon story, right? This Amazon story is actually terrifying. This is like dystopian level stuff. This Amazon story that is coming out of the United States convinces me beyond the shadow of a doubt, like, we live in a dystopian future. Like, we are here. The dystopian future is now. Like, it's not coming. It's not like a glimpse. It's here. So if you're unfamiliar with what's going on with Amazon, Amazon is trying as hard as it can to increase productivity as much as it possibly can at the cost of human dignity, right? And by increasing human suffering, right? There are stories coming out where Amazon drivers are having to pee in bottles, right? They're not being given breaks. They're not being given permission to pause for even a moment in order to find a restroom and use a washroom, you know, like a human being. They're not being given basic human dignity in order to do this. This is also happening on the Amazon floor, right? Like the sorting floor. People aren't being given permission to go and take restroom breaks, right? This is the kind of thing that Westerners would accuse like China of doing, like Foxconn and all this kind of stuff. We would all go, oh, how barbaric. And here we are doing it, right? We're doing it, absolutely. And what makes it extra scary, is that it's obvious that it's happening. It's the major concern of Amazon workers that are going on strike. It's a major concern being brought up. And Amazon is denying that it happens, right? Amazon's Twitter feed, right, literally gaslights people by saying, it said, do you really believe drivers pee in bottles, right? As if it's like a gaslighting boyfriend trying to convince you that what is obviously, like, the abuse that this boyfriend is inflicting on you is obviously not happening, and that you must be the crazy one. And then on top of it, Amazon, when it finds out that people have defecated in boxes or peed in bottles because they're not given permission, because they're not given even a moment to go find a restroom, to go have a break, right? Amazon, instead of going self-reflecting and saying, maybe we should allow people, 5 minutes so that they can relieve themselves as they work their lives away for us for a survival stipend, right? Maybe we should just account for the fact that human beings are not robots, that human beings are humans. Instead of that, what they're doing is they're punishing people. They're punishing their own workers for finding a way to empty their bladder and empty their bowels while they're overworked by a corporation that's making hundreds of billions of dollars annually from this overt and obvious human suffering. And so you're talking about, like, this is getting to be levels of sociopathic behavior that I don't see why anyone should tolerate. And of course I can hear it already. There's always a conservative in the conversation going, well, if that's the way, they should just go get a better job. And this is the kind of thing that gets said by somebody who is as illiterate as an illiterate person can be, right? Because what Amazon does is they move into a community that is already been completely gutted by this neoliberal experiment, right? They move into a community that had its manufacturing base decimated, that had that has already had its service sector decimated. It's already desperate and poor. People don't have any money. They can't get out of these conditions because they don't have money to move. And if they own property, they can't sell it to anyone. No one's going to buy to move into like this decimated area where maybe there used to be a GM plant, or maybe there used to be a Campbell's soup plant or something, and people could go and actually work a job. All of that's been completely decimated, right? And and so these people, there is no other job, right? Amazon moves in, and also on top of this, when Amazon moves in, they decimate existing businesses, right? If you're running like a small retailer, or if you're running like a small distribution center, right, in one of these areas, and Amazon moves in, right, they are going to shut those places down. They're going to do that simply by the force of their existence, because they can. Because they don't want competition, they don't want competitors. They're just going to go in and decimate these places and send them out. So this idea that somebody can just go get a better job is childish, right? It's a childish thing to say. It's like, it really is along the same level as saying like, oh, you didn't get a gaming system for Christmas. Santa must not like you, right? Really, really on that same kind of delusional level. And there are millions of people who believe this, right? Why don't you train and get a skill, right? Yeah, as if there's all these training academies around in these decimated neighborhoods, as if there are educators around in all of these decimated neighborhoods where neoliberalism has come and hollowed them out, as if there's all of these opportunities abounding, and as if education is free, right? As if this education system is free, right? Like, it's even worse in America, where when you take out, if you take out a loan in order, which by the way, you're only going to get that loan if you're white, and you're going to get that loan, and you can't bankrupt out of it. So if the whole thing's a wash, if it doesn't work out, if you can't find the work, or if you can't make enough to actually pay off the debt that you took, then you're stuck with it for the rest of your life, right? We live in this kind of new indentured servitude system, and this new debt peonage system, right? You don't need to actually arrest people and put them in jail, right? Their living conditions are just horrible in the first place, and they're going to remain that way because that's how the system is structured. And meanwhile, Amazon, so in the end, you gotta pay your bills, right? This is capitalism, baby. Everybody's got bills, right? Nobody's sitting there being like, oh, I get to live for free, right? By the way, little interjection. Have you ever talked to people who are like living with their parents and not paying rent, right? I do occasionally, right? It's a real treat talking to these people who don't pay rent, living in their parents' place, right? They're essentially neoconservatives. They have no idea what's going on in the world. They don't know anything, right? They don't pay rent. They literally think that you can just like, oh, just like go do this other thing immediately, right? As if we don't have bills to pay, as if we don't have rent to pay. Unreal. And so Amazon is allowed to mistreat its workers, and even worse, right? This mistreatment, it's not unique to Amazon, right? This mistreatment is built into the structure of capitalism. It is illegal for a company to not increase profits for its shareholders. I'm going to say that again because people don't believe me when I say this. It is illegal for a company to not increase profits for its shareholders, okay? If a company does not increase profits for its shareholders, the shareholders could literally sue the company. And the company can literally have to face down a major lawsuit by its own shareholders if it doesn't make decisions to increase the profits for the shareholders, right? That's why these decisions get made. So it doesn't matter if you're like a nice person. It doesn't matter if you're a nice guy that has a moral compass. If you're existing in that kind of structure, then you are forced to look at spreadsheets, look at number rolls, to treat your employees like cattle, and make decisions based exclusively on short-term gain, right? Because if you don't make short-term gain for your shareholders, they will sue you. This is why the capitalist system is so corrosive and so destructive, and why you end up with these horrific positions where workers are forced to defecate in boxes in trucks while they're driving around delivering goods for people, right? Like, this should be a respectable job. This should be something that a person does and is respected in our society, right? Like, and it's getting to be difficult for me to go out and actually go shop, right? Because when I go shop, I talk to the people who are doing the work, and I know they're getting paid a survival wage. I know they're wasting their entire life. Why do I know it? Because that's what I was doing, right? I worked in a toy store. That's what I was doing. I was working for a survival wage, right? And if you actually start talking about how to improve the place for the workers, they fire you, right? They let you go. They get rid of you. They work against you. You could take a look at what's going on in Amazon to see that's the truth, right? How they work against the workers, how they're attempting to lay people off if you attempt to fight back. So how do we fight back, right? Here in Canada, we're a bit luckier because we actually have a functioning political system. Although the populace has been so heavily propagandized against, right? Hundreds of billions of dollars are spent in order to propagandize the populace and convince them that capitalism is worth a damn, when it absolutely isn't. What we need to be doing is joining third-party, non-affiliated groups, okay? I have a link in the description below, socialistaction.ca. This is a socialist group, an anti-capitalist group with the explicit stated agenda to dismantle capitalism, because it needs to be dismantled completely to the ground, no exception. And we need to join these groups, because if you take your $5, $10, $20 and you give it to the NDP or you give it to the Liberals, they say thanks and then they ignore you, right? Because they don't care. They don't care about your interests or your goals or your agenda, right? If you're an individual by yourself off in the wind, right? The only time that a politician is going to actually listen to you and actually do anything for you is if you come to them with a large voting block and you say, do what we say or we vote for the other guy, right? If you come with 1,000 people, 10,000 people, and you say, do what we say or we vote for the other guy, right? They're going to do what you say, right? That's a significant voting block. That's a significant, and that's how we got our universal healthcare system. That's how we get any agenda that ever gets done. Doesn't happen because I donated $20 to the NDP and then I went and voted for the NDP. Yeah, I'm sure they're going to care what I have to say. Yeah, no, they're not. They're definitely not. Like, you need to be affiliated with third-party, non-political organizations, right? So not affiliated with the NDP, not affiliated with the Liberals, not directly connected to the Conservatives, certainly not, and vote in a block, because this is the future of our work, right? This is the future of our work. The future of our work is dystopian overlords having us shit in boxes instead of giving us proper bathroom breaks, right? It's depressing our wages, it's decreasing our rights, and then punishing us for doing it, while simultaneously turning around through their billion-dollar PR machine and denying that it happens at all, right? We are ruled by sociopathic oligarchs, and if we don't actually stand up or organize against them with the explicit demand that the entire system be dismantled, then our future is grim indeed. Okay, this is the end of this video, guys. If you've made it to this point, make sure you subscribe. Those are the rules. If you're here listening to this right now, you have to subscribe. I don't make the rules, I just force them. Make sure you like it, make sure you share it around to your conservative friends and family, right? Like, conservatism needs to go away. It needs to go away. It has no place in our civil society any longer. It's a sociopathic death cult that needs to be dismantled. You are doing wonderful in the world, okay? Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. These guys spend billions of dollars to convince you that you are not worth anything. They are wrong. They know they're wrong. You're a wonderful person. You're doing great in the world. All the decisions you're making for yourself are good and righteous and true. I believe in you. I hope you believe in me. Good luck. we're going to need it.